What was your journey to becoming a genetic counselor?
Hi, I'm Timikia. My journey to becoming a genetic counselor started back in undergrad. I was pretty sure I wanted to go to med school, but not so sure about work life balance in becoming a physician. So I graduated from Howard University with a bachelor's in biology, took some time off and did like a research training project through the NIH. And it was at that time that I discovered the field of genetic counseling. I actually discovered that my alma mater had a genetic counseling program. So I was able to attend Howard University as a part of my undergrad and graduate, but before I applied for grad school, I did shadow a genetic counselor at the Children's Hospital in DC. I spoke to Barbara Harrison, who was at that time the program director for Howard. Pretty sure I found a niche for me. It incorporated science as well as my love for people. So it started from there. I applied to Howard's program and got in and graduated a couple of years later and started my career.
How did you choose your genetic counseling specialty?
I chose my genetic counseling specialty by really going the traditional route at first, but I have since switched and moved into something else. So I was really excited about the clinical aspect of genetic counseling, seeing patients, and I wanted to see a variety. So my first job was working at a genetics clinic in a hospital in Long Island. So I saw prenatal, pediatric, and adult patients. So I really got um, just a good variety of clinical experience. But one thing I noticed as I was working is that this field of genetic technology, in terms of the testing, was really exploding. There were a lot of things that were new, like microarray and non invasive prenatal testing. So I was kind of intrigued by how fast that was growing. So I had a shift at some point and I went to industry and laboratory. And so I started working there. And I've bounced around and I've really chose my interest based on kind of what's going on and what's new, right? So I try to keep on top of the field and really try to work in an area that I am excited to work in.
What does your typical workday look like?
My typical work day is pretty patient heavy. I see telehealth patients over a video platform, and it's for typical indications, advanced maternal age, abnormal ultrasounds. But because I'm also a part of a laboratory, I do have some like laboratory duties in terms of counseling patients post test or pre test about some of our products. As a part of this job, I also have the opportunity to work with students, which is sometimes a little bit different in industry. Those students get a chance to shadow me in terms of seeing my genetic counseling visits, but also an opportunity to shadow all of the counselors across our laboratory and just learn more about the different business products and how a genetic counselor functions in a corporation, which is a little bit different than in an academic setting.
What is the most challenging aspect of being a genetic counselor?
One of the most challenging aspects that I have personally found in being a genetic counselor has to do more with the clinical side of what we do. We are a piece of the puzzle in terms of the patient care. Usually, we only see them for one visit for whatever that indication is. Occasionally, we may see them back if something is abnormal, but we never get a chance to hear their final story, right? We don't get a chance to get the delivery note or see what happened to that baby or if we're seeing a child in pediatric clinic, we may only see them while they're still having that particular issue or dealing with it, but not, when they graduate from high school. So I always hate that I can't be a part of the patient's full journey. So I do find that challenging, but um, it's just one of the aspects of what we do.
What do you like most about being a genetic counselor?
what I like most about being a genetic counselor, and it may sound weird to say, is that nobody ever knows what I do. Um, I think it's interesting to work in a field that, I mean, we're getting a little bit more well known. The odds that somebody has seen a genetic counselor in your family is a little bit higher than it was. But the fact that we're on a profession that's cutting edge, and there's always new technology kind of coming out, and you have to be on your toes and you have to process complex information. I love the challenge. And I love being able to use one side of my brain, at least from 8 to 5.
What advice do you have for aspiring genetic counselors?
The advice I would have for someone looking to get into the genetic counseling profession is to really use all of your avenues in terms of resources. So obviously make connections, but also attend some of the scientific meetings, the free ones, the webinars, so that you are kind of aware of where this field is going. Sometimes you can kind of predict that this particular area of genetic counseling, because technology is taking off so much, right? They're going to need a lot of new counselors. So if you are kind of on top of things and, obviously doing all of the educational things you have to do to apply, but just keeping on top of, um, if I want to get a job, right? Where are the jobs? Where are things really expanding in terms of genetic counseling? And just stay open to all the possibilities. I think that's the advice I would give.